Dobrý den, tady je Ruslan, já vás vítám u dnešního vydání Pravdy Duše. Můj host se jmenuje Daniel, potkali jsme se na oslavě svátku Dne Boha Kupalu. Hlásíme se z Lipska, z místa, kde bylo tradiční slovanské osídlení a nyní je to součást Německa. Hello Daniel.
Hello.
Welcome into the program, and I'm really glad that you accepted us in your room when you where you are meeting with the other guys, and you have a music group,
yes,
as I understood. And we met at the Kupala Day,
yeah,
in the Czech Republic, and I liked your story and your life attitude. And I was also surprised that there is a Slavic environment or Slavic movement within the Republic of Germany.
Yeah.
So can you tell us something more about this surprising fact?
Yeah, sure. I was surprised also as I've heard of it, and I came to it because of I was looking for some people to get together to exchange some thoughts, and it was a concert of Svetozar, a singer from Russia, from a band called Auramir, and he did some lectures on singing with the own voice, like the clan voice, it's called, translated, and
was it this eloquent singing?
Oh yes, it was great. It's like the ancestors did it. You can feel the vibrations in your body, and also as a group, when you gather together, you sound like one voice together. It is an experience you have to be with it. And yes, so I found this group of people. At this time, this were
here in Germany.
In Germany, yes. It was in Bavaria, in this one time in Itzgrund. There were about 30 people, and we celebrated the concert and also the sun, and did some rituals, some lectures on the voice, and also he did one lecture on happiness and the relationship between men and women. So it was very informative for me, and also for the others. Yes, very surprising that in Germany are people who are engaged in the Slavic culture, and also they are spread all over the country. As we were in Itzgrund, they came from the northern parts of Germany, from south, west, eastern part, and Itzgrund is kind of in the middle of it. So all gathered together from all of the Germany.
So, and how come that the Germans are interested in our Slavic rituals and way of living?
I suppose it comes from their ancestors and some stories they still have here. For example, the veden at the Bodensee in the south of Germany, between Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg. They have a very old tradition, about 9,000 years from today, and their tradition is all about fire, and it wandered from here, from the south of Germany. It wandered to India and came back a few years ago, and is growing there. Also are some little communities growing in itself, and it will become something big. And I think the Germans they feel it inside that something have to change, something is changing, and they have to go with it. And also I've seen that they can feel the vibrations that we send out with our thoughts, with our voices, and so they sometimes also started singing in Russian without knowing Russian, just because they felt the vibrations, and it was really really interesting to see it live.
So in Bavaria at the meeting, so there were people from Russia, or how is it here? So were there Germans or German Russians?
Yes, there were Russians born in Russia living here, also just Germans, or yes, me born in Russia living here. Some were born here but talk Russian, so it was a good mix, and also some from the Czech Republic.
Yes, just to have a clue who you are, can you introduce yourself and also tell us something about your family background?
Yes, I am Daniel Pushkarev with my normal name, I think. I call myself Kolobok. There's a story to it, but maybe we can get onto it later. And my family background. It's really funny, because one part is Jewish, one part is Russian, Slavic, almost clean-blooded, as my grandma said once.
What did he say? What did she say?
She said that before my dad came into our family, on the mother's side it was all Russian, and it was like they were always there, and so maybe they are some descendants of those Slavic people we now try to like those people we try to put their tradition back together and relive it again. So I don't know, that's something I have to elaborate more and work on it. Yes, and I was 4 as I was taken by my parents from Russia to Moldavia, where my father is from, and his family. And there we lived for 4 to 5 years, and then we moved to Germany, directly into Leipzig. My grandparents on father's side, they were ordered to go to Dresden first, and they lived half a year there. Then they came back. They came to us, to Leipzig. Now they're here. Yes, and that's pretty much it till we then lived in Germany. Then I made my school here and learned insurance business as a profession, but I don't do it anymore. And now I'm working on Slavic traditions. I'm learning much because I grew up here, so I was disconnected early to my Russian roots, and I have to remember things, but also learn new things, and it's getting hard, but sometimes, but I think I can manage it.
And do you have some people around which are like also in the Russian or Slavic tradition that can inspire you? Like, do you meet people here also? Are there more people like you in Leipzig, for example?
In Leipzig, I know one guy who went with me to Bavaria the one time. There we met, but no, we met here at the car and drove together 2.5 hours, so we spent a lot of time and got a connection. And yes, we meet still every now and then when it's time, because we both are young. He's 20, I'm 24, and we are constantly working on ourselves and also on coming further into the Slavic tradition and into giving it to someone, to be able to explain it to someone who doesn't have anything to do with it, like in normal or scientific terms or historical terms, art terms or something. You can find many metaphors which then fit on the Slavic tradition.
And what is your goal in what do you see in the future? What is it? What do you want to do with your life? So, or can you describe your life now and how do you want to transform it? And what's ahead of you? What's the goal?
That's an interesting question. My life right now is pretty much, I would say, boring. Through my job, it's very you do the same every day.
What do you do exactly?
I harden metal parts for gearboxes for Volkswagen, and yes, that's pretty much it. What I do. But it pays the bills. So it's also better than lying to people. That's why I left the insurance business. It was not always just lies, but I figured things out, how the world economy works, how finance works in particular, in of course how central banks work, and when you get to it then and understand it, then you can understand that there is no democratic process at all anywhere. It is always controlled by someone, and most of the time you can't even see that, because they understood the principle of making your organization invisible. You have to split it up in so many pieces as possible, so nobody can find you. There are people who are talking and who are disguising themselves as the owners of some companies, and as I saw it live in my schooling in insurance, my training, yes, now. I wanted out, with psychological therapies, and after that I said you have to do something about it, and music is one side of it. I try to tell some truths and stories on the stage or in the tracks, particularly, and hope that the people will wake up someday.
Well, and so let's go back to your goal.
Yes, the goal.
Can you describe it?
The goal.
So now you would say that you are like doing a boring mechanical job. So you like basically you spend your day repeating the same movements.
Yes.
And with having no personal attachment to what you do.
Absolutely, yes.
You have turned yourself into a machine, a part of the gearbox. You're in the gearbox.
Yes, that's also a box to hold there. So
the whole room where you are is a box where you are making gearbox.
Yeah, kind of, and as you put it that way, I realize it more that I'm a machine. But when you compete with machines, then you become one. Someone smart said once, and I put it myself also often in front of colleagues. I put it out that, hey guys, we are like slaves in here, you know. The working conditions aren't good, and paying isn't good, and we get robbed of our time, not the money, but our time, and that we can get back. So I often told, hey, let's start something. Let's drop the work and just go outside and sit there. Maybe someone notices.
What do the colleagues say?
They say, so few people, we can make a difference, and what won't you do, and the money's right, or something.
Tell us how you want out of the box.
I want out of the box. It's a hard one. First, I need money, I think, because the system is right now as it is, and I have to work in it. And of course, it has to be non-violent. To be sustainable for really long time. So I just can go out, and right now I can just go out and talk to people and be myself. To show what one can accomplish with the knowledge of the Slavic culture and the traditions, also the daily life of the people then back then, because it helps. It helped me with my weight and with my mood also. Sleeping, I'm working on it, but. So what exactly does it mean? I heard that you drank water for the whole week. Is that what you think that it's part of it? Yes, could be, because this Slavic tradition is not like a dogma. It's more when it feels right for you, then it's right for you, and when you find it okay to just drink water a whole 7 days and nothing else, then it's okay. When you say, I need maybe a bit of taste, so I add some grasses or tea to the water, okay, also okay. Or I don't do it with water, I do it just with apples. You know, it have to feel right. It has to feel right, and that's why the Slavic tradition is maybe the solution for the most problems we have today, because it's so fluid, and but on the other hand, it's really strong and really like tested. I would say. I mean, it worked for decades, centuries, maybe thousands of years. We don't really know because the official history is fake. I've heard that about 90% of it are fake. So you have to clean up there. That's what I'm doing on the side. Also, I collect evidence for the hypothesis of the alternative historians, and try to put them in an argumentation for people who argue about, hey, what you're telling me about gods and stuff.
So, what parts of history do you think are particularly most fake?
Most fake. I've heard that is it the Middle Age? Like what is it? Renaissance? Yeah, not that. What came before the Renaissance? How's it called in English?
Like Middle Ages?
Yeah, medieval ages.
Medieval.
Yes, medieval ages. Those are made up. I've heard this is just a copy of the antique times with Caesar and stuff. Just the names were changed, and the dates were changed. So, but it happens. The same stuff happens 500 years, 1,000 years apart, or something, because. It's really hard to get around it. The history wasn't just faked; it was also stretched in time. Some centuries were added where nothing happened, but so we have another perception of history. We think, yes, Jesus was born like 2019 years ago, but instead it was maybe just 500, and all between has happened in those 500 years. So we are maybe not that evolved as we always say as modern society.
And who changed the history and why?
It were some Germans, Bayermüller and Schletzer.
Bayermüller and Schletzer,
those three
changed the history.
Mostly those three, but also other German people. It was in the late half of the 19th century. There was a historians' congress in St. Petersburg where they talked about how they put Russian history into school books, and something like it. Don't really the topics, but just.
And that's so. At this meeting, they decided to change the history in some fake way.
Yeah, they decided how to write history after what happened, and I've heard also that most possibly between the 17th and 18th century or 18th and 19th century, I'm not really that sure. There was a global flood, so that the old civilizations that we call antique, they were destroyed, and those people who remained, they formed new societies, and they were then like we knew them. In history, yes, and the Germans. Yes, there's a whole other story to it added, because at this time the ruler of Russia was Katerina the Great. and she also had a saying over the university, and over the things that are written in the books, and she was of the Romanov clan, and the Romanov clan was very Western. With Peter the First, it says he opened the window to Europe. He shouldn't have done it and stuff. But I've also heard that he went to Europe to Netherlands, learned how to build ships and work with wood as a Tsar, respect. But it came back another guy who was one head higher and had other marks in his face. So the theory is that it wasn't him, because also what he has done when he came back. He put his wife away without seeing her, and get another one from Netherlands, and there are some details that don't seem logical in the official history. So I dug in it and found the things that. The history was fake, just right there, from Peter the First over Katerina the Great to the communist regime, which also crossed away some letters in the old Buchwitzer, and yes, there's so much lost. So we have to. Get it together and tell the people that they are wrong when they are telling something about history.
So let's back to your personal life attitude. Tell me please about the plan. To start a natural life, or to create your family group, or family. A piece of land where you will start the original Slavic lifestyle.
Yes.
So when you are now working in the factory as a worker for an agency, so what is your goal and how are you planning to get there?
My goal is to get some land, put their big tent for gatherings with people who just want to talk or to meditate. Quiet place with nature, and then expand. The more people it become, the more you expand, and then maybe we will build houses, and also we can work together to maybe also finance it. I will probably be working at the factory for 2 years more to collect some money and to have some for the start, and then I know a firm here in Leipzig which builds new houses and also works with people who are looking for land, especially for land. And I want to ask them if they can find some piece of land around Leipzig which is affordable and where you can do something, because in Germany you have many kinds of land where you have land where you can build something on, and not just per definition. So it doesn't make sense in some places.
When we met at the event in Moravia, you were talking about that your plan was to meet, to get a wife. and
Yes.
moved to Russia to find a
Yes.
land there
Yes.
and start original Slavic life there. So did you like reconsider this plan, or how is it with your plan?
I'm constantly reconsidering everything because I have to keep an open mind. But at the moment, I'm kind of in love finding process. Met someone the last days. Nice girl. Likes Russia. And also is interested in history and Slavic culture. So yeah, I don't believe in coincidences. So you know.
Is she also from Russia or Russian?
No, she's German all the way, but her grandparents have a strong connection to Russia just because they like Russia and grew up in the GDR, and she has strong connections to the grandparents more than to her own parents. So. She has that affinity for Russia. It's nice. It's nice to hear that some Germans were kind of happy with us Russians being here after the war.
And how come? What the grandparents were like working with the Russians, or?
I
don't know.
didn't have the chance yet to ask, but it's a good question.
So just tell me briefly, what do you think about the present German society now, the world which is here around us here?
It's also a tough one because not everyone is the same, but in general, there are sometimes you can identify in Germany. There are some people who are how should I say, awake, you know, who think about life, who think about why bad stuff happens to them or to others, or who think about is working like 8 to 4 really the thing. Yes, they start to think, but they don't find answers because where. It's really hard here in Germany to find answers to those questions. Some go to the church, but it doesn't help a lot. I went myself to the Catholic Church, and it didn't really help. And yes, there's this other part. Those people are consuming recklessly, and they don't think about what consequences it has when they make a ship tour, a cruise twice a year, or fly. I don't know where. I've also heard of people who fly to the cruise. It's odd, but also you can see on TV how comedy shows who disguise themselves as news go on the streets and ask people about climate change and if the ecology is important to them, and all the people say yes, ecology is important, and then they ask a question, and how often do you go on vacation, or when is your next vacation? And they all have something to say to me. And it's almost every time flying somewhere or a cruise, or something that is really not good for the environment, and they don't even bat an eye on it. So that makes me really sad, because I also work with some of those people and try to talk to them in some sense, but they don't want to think about it. It destroys their perception of life, and it don't fit in their worldview. So you have to let them go. I had to learn the hard way that everyone has his own way, and I have found mine, I think, and those who aren't awake, they have to find it. Maybe they have to live through something traumatic like I did to realize things.
What was your trauma then?
I almost died 3 times in car accidents. Once at 17, I was on a bike, was hit by a car. Stood up, went to school like normal. But yeah, 17, you're made of magic and rubber. But then I had an accident not far from here. In the winter, my car started to slide and went into a tree, directly straight from the front. And no airbags, nothing happened, but nobody got hurt, also nice. And the last time, this was the most crucial one, this was on the Autobahn at 200 kilometers per hour, tire blew. It blew up, and my car was driven to the left. I was in the left lane, so I was pushed against the metal. I don't know how it's called in English. Leitplanke. Maybe someone can Google it. Yes, and also nobody was hurt. I wasn't hurt. My girlfriend at the time wasn't hurt, and nobody around us was hurt. Just my car was wrecked, and also at every of my accidents, nobody was hurt. Just material damage.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
It's like if you would be chosen or something.
It also felt like a message in form of, boy, you can't go right now. You have something to do here, and so I went on a search. What do I have to do? And I had to go into myself, because I also learned it's the first question you have to answer is who yourself, who is yourself, who are you, and there it all started. I felt this urge from in here. It was pulling in every direction, but mostly forward. When I talked about unifying the people around the world, under one premise, to say we are all humans. So why don't we work together? Why do we fight all the time? Yes, and this urge, it's driving me since, I think, and everything will come with its time, and we'll see what happens.
So Daniel, thank you so much for bringing new ideas and spreading them. And we would like to follow you, and we would like to see your piece of land here or in Russia, with a tent and with your scholars. because I think you're a kind of amazing person here, and it's the time will come when you will develop your skills, and you will be a thinker and a philosopher, and you can really influence the stuff here. Because I think that the German is kind of in a coma somehow. That's what it seems to me, you know, the people.
True.
So the awakening is coming closer with people like Daniel or people we know, our friends in the Czech Republic. We are meeting often. So I think that the awakening, we don't know when will it come.
Yes.
But sooner and later we can be sure that it will happen.
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Daniel. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes,
okay.
me too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you. Bye. Takže to byl Daniel, který si říká Kolobok, koblížek, který ví toho hodně o tom, co je za oponou reality všech dnů, o tom, kde máme hledat pravou podstatu věcí. Sledujte nás dál, sledujte dál pořad Pravdy duše, kterým vás provází Ruslan. Nasledanou.